and welcome back to yet another episode of The Unstable Brew, where we discuss all things not quite normal, brewing up in our lives, this world, and maybe even beyond. I'm Taylor.
And I'm Charity.
Let's get brewing.
Whoop, whoop. Well, I'm exhausted.
So am I.
So I know that this is coming out after Christmas. We're recording it before Christmas, and just all together, there's a lot of Christmas stuff happening, and I'm exhausted.
There's still so much I have to do on my to-do list before we actually make our 9-hour drive tomorrow.
Yeah, because you're going to see family on the opposite end of Texas.
Correct.
I'm staying here. But there's still so much to do just because everybody's coming to my house for Christmas.
Because your mom's house is still under renovation, right?
Mom has had a bad month.
I feel bad for her.
I mean, you've got the anniversary of Dad's death coming up. The day before Thanksgiving happened, her house flooded. Yep. So it's completely under renovation right now. They're having to replace all the floors. There's holes in her walls. It's a whole ordeal. Her poor dog is broken. That's the best way I can explain it. We don't exactly know what's going on with him. It's like he injured his neck or his back or his hips or something. But every time he's a husky and he's a puppy and he just wants to move. But every time he tries to move, he just howls in pain.
Aww,
and she is this close to putting the poor dog on weed because the pain meds do nothing. And she's like, weed may help.
Look, okay, hold on. Let's just backtrack and take a moment of the fact that your mom straight up goes, Charity, I know your friends know where I can get some weed. I'm going to need to put my dog on it. And the thing is, the crazy part is me and Christina, without even
y'all start sending me links.
Immediately went, don't give him actual marijuana. Give him CBD. There's CBD products specifically for animals. Christina has already sent you a link. It goes, we've used this for our dogs and blah, 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 blah. Like, within 30 minutes of you saying that, we had already provided you information.
She knew that I knew the people to go to, and she was not wrong.
No, she wasn't.
The dog he's healing. He's taking his time. I think she did end up getting him some CBD.
Good.
Because the poor dog, he's just so miserable. But yeah, so we're doing all of the Christmas stuff at my house this year, which I'm perfectly fine with. It's just one of those of, we went to Lubbock last weekend for my Christmas party. Then we get back, and then it's all day Christmas shopping. Then it was all day Christmas wrapping. And now we've got, recording this, and then I've got to make sure that the house is clean this weekend to get everything ready for the Christmas party, and I'm just so tired.
Yeah, that sounds just as exhausting, because let's see, for on my end of my mental exhaustion, last Friday, I ended up launching 2 projects simultaneously. I ended up launching a CRM and a VoIP system simultaneously with a 2-week turnaround period, which was a lot. But I did it.
That's a lot of work.
So that started on Friday. On Saturday, when you had your Christmas party, I had my Christmas party. And then Sunday was the only day I could go Christmas shopping with my mother-in-law for Matt. So had to do all of that. Monday, I had to finish up my Secret Santa gift.
And then you had to deck everything out for the Christmas party that you helped plan.
I helped decorate our office. Ended up finishing up my Secret Santa gift. Ended up making 2 different things. I made jalapeno pinwheels and sausage balls, and that was Monday night. Tonight, I need to pack. I need to actually wrap Matt's Christmas gift so his mom isn't the one responsible for that, and clean the house as best as I can. So that way, because his mom is actually going to just stay at our house to watch the animals. Mm-hmm. It just makes sense. And then tomorrow, we start a 9-hour drive all the way to far Texas. And yes, I said far because it is far. And
it is far, far away.
It's funny because I was reading a run through. You misspelled it. You said
F-A-R-R? Nope. It's P-H-A-R-R?
It's P-H-A-R-R. It is literally on the border, like Texas-Mexico border, and it's 9 hours from us. So that's going to be fun. Oh, and by the way,
that's going to be a miserable drive.
I said that I was working remote, so I'm going to have my laptop.
Taylor J, take vacation days.
Okay, Thursday and Friday, I actually have PTO in. Like,
okay, good.
I actually put PTO in.
I have to say, that's a long drive, and then to have to work when you get there.
But tomorrow, I said I would work remotely, just limited remotely, which, like, they are already aware. And then Christmas, our entire office is closed because that's a Monday. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, I also said I would work remotely. I would just have limited access just for me to show back up to work on Thursday. So
that's going to be one of those where it's like, if you send an email, I'll do my best to look at it.
Correct.
But don't expect anything anytime soon.
Correct. So then whenever we come back, then I have to go to work Thursday, Friday, which then Friday we'll do our Christmas with my mother-in-law. Saturday, we're going to do Christmas with his mom's side of the family. Mm-hmm. That night, we're coming here to do bingo.
New Year's.
You guys and the girls. Sunday is going to be kind of like a lax day, I guess, of like movies and stuff like that.
And games.
I'm not going to church. We already have to go to church for Christmas Eve because my father-in-law is actually the pastor at the retirement community. So technically, Matt and Kyle are
they're gonna love you
pastor
there.
Kids, which is hilarious.
Pause there.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Kyle went. So, you ready to go to church since we're PK? And Matt was like, PK, what the hell?
PKs!
He was like, what the hell is that? And then Kyle goes, Pastor kids now. And I was like, oh, I guess we are going to have to go to church. I went,
as the wife of a pastor kid, please walk in with your hair freshly dyed, all your tats showing. No,
I don't have time to color my hair between now and the drive. That's going to be a New Year's thing.
Then just make sure your blue hair flies in the wind.
Oh, yeah. Look, okay, let's be real.
I'm a Christian and I'm encouraging this. It's okay.
Here's the thing. It is a retirement community.
That's why I'm saying to do it.
These people have reached the point of they do not give...
don't care.
I've seen these people driving down on their little golf carts with like a margarita in hand. Okay. I've heard my father-in-law talk about like, yeah, they usually start at this person's house with margaritas and then they'll hop over to this person's house for more margaritas. And I'm just like, what
I would love that place.
You can't live there because you have a kid. That's one of the rules.
That's fair.
They have no actual like age limit restriction. You just have to be an adult, but you have to be an adult without an actual child.
I mean, that checks out. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's understandable, especially when you're driving around with that much alcohol.
Yeah. I mean, they're totally welcome for families because they all have families that will come and visit and stuff like that. But like living within the gated community, that's one of the rules.
That checks out.
Yeah. On top of the fact, we'll see, which I need to keep track of how often we see Grandpa because he has become a ladies' man.
Grandpa?
Yeah. So we went last
Grandpa's
year.
got ladies?
Apparently he has apparently from my husband's conversations with Kyle and my father-in-law, Grandpa has a lady friend. When asked about this, he doesn't really give much detail on this.
Well, no, Grandpa does not kiss and tell.
Look, I just appreciate the fact that not only is this community a very healthy community for these folks, but I really love seeing Grandpa thrive after his wife passed away in 2020.
Yeah, that is great.
That was always a huge concern of ours of like, what is he going to do now that he doesn't have his partner in crime anymore? And that was our biggest concern. We were afraid he was going to like kind of like go into himself and become depressed. Instead, he is living life to his fullest.
Good for Grandpa.
Go Grandpa. But it is hilarious, and I will let you know how often we see him during our week there.
Please do. I need to know all about the girlfriend.
We probably won't see her, let's be real.
Anything that you pick up, I'd love to hear.
He's the only male who had actually played cards with the ladies last year when we went to visit. So, like, he's, Grandpa's a little ladies man. He's out there
Go,
living
Grandpa.
his best
Go,
life.
Grandpa.
I don't need to know details, but
I love it. Oh my gosh.
it's a lot. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we're both going to be exhausted. But the good thing is we do get to end the year all together because like you said, we're going to be doing New Year's Eve here at my house.
We're going
to have all the girls. We're going to have all the partners. We're going to have all the kids.
We're doing Canton first Monday.
Yeah.
I've never done that.
I'm super excited.
I've never done that. So
that's right. You didn't go with us. So we went one time before when my son was super little. I don't even think he was a year old the last time we all went as a group.
Probably not.
No. So this will be the first time us all going as a group now that he's a little bit older. But it'll be really fun because we'll have all the kids with us. We'll have all the partners with us. So it'll be like a full day and a full event type thing.
Matt won't be able to come.
Yeah.
Because he'll have to work.
Daniel technically does have to work. So the trade days will probably just be us girls with the kids.
Most
but
likely.
everything else that weekend and,
Yeah.
Coming into the new year with, all of us together, to me, just, it warms my heart because it's like our chosen family.
I'm excited for this. I will add, as much as I really wanted to get Christmas gift for the girls, I probably am going to be one of those sorry suckers who don't get anything.
I will tell you what I told Christina.
Money.
I love your love. Your love is my gift.
Okay, as long as we agree.
Also, you all got me a stripper pole, so I'm happy. I don't need nothing. I have received loved.
I love the fact that we really did.
Y'all got me a stripper pole.
And got you a freaking stripper pole.
Greatest day of my life.
I'm so excited.
I also had a child. That was a good day too. But you got me a stripper pole, man.
Yeah, and you also showed us a video of your brother holding your side as he goes down the stripper pole like, wee! I'm a firefighter.
If you ask him, it is the firefighter pole.
That's the smart thing to say.
It will be coming down when my family comes over for Christmas.
Oh, why not? Why?
My brother insisted on not seeing my grandmother go down the stripper pole, which I can't blame him.
Now I feel like you should leave it up just to see their reaction. What are they going to say? What is going to happen? I use it to work out. It's a great exercising tool.
Oh, no, I have no fear of their comments because, I don't care. Again, it's the fear of seeing them on the stripper pole. We don't need that image.
Do you really think your grandmother is going to go, ooh, let me see those little thing. Ha, ha, ha.
She might not, but both of my aunts would.
Oh, yeah, you do have that one aunt who...
Which one? Because both aunts that I know are coming to Christmas Eve would probably try and get on that pole, and I'm like, I'm good.
So
anywho,
with New Year's a few days away, we thought it'd be fun to discuss New Year's resolutions. Do you do them? Do you think they work? And what are yours?
Additionally, something that kind of came to my head was, could they also hold us back? And I think about this because, I've had multiple times where I've thought, oh, I should do XYZ. I should pick up running more, or I should pick up reading more. And I think, well, we're at the holidays. We're really busy. I can't start a diet now because of this. I'll just wait until the New Year's.
Yeah.
And then by the time New Year comes along, I don't have that same motivation, or I'm tired, or I've honestly just forgotten about it.
Yeah.
So how often are we just letting these opportunities pass us by because, well, it'll just be a New Year's resolution, and then you forget about it by the time New Year's actually rolls around.
Actually happens.
Or you use it as an excuse of, oh, well, it's just a New Year's resolution. I don't actually have to hold on to those things. Those things never actually work out.
Well, you say all of that, and I will add, I've never really actually tried to make a New Year's resolution list.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm don't get me wrong. Oh, this would be a good New Year's resolution, or blah, blah, blah. But I never actually follow through with even creating that list. And so for me, it's just kind of well, if I never said that I was going to do it as a New Year's resolution,
then it's easy to stop.
It is I don't even have to worry about it. So,
I do have a few things on my list this year. And I mean, I kind of get what you're saying. I've made the list before with always the mindset of it's a New Year's resolution list. Half of this stuff or most of this stuff won't actually happen. But it's fun for me to make the list, and it kind of gives me like a purpose for the new year. Something when I'm going into the new year, it's something to strive for. Most of the time it doesn't work out, but it makes me feel like I'm doing something.
Well, then, what are some of your New Year's resolutions for 2024? God, I feel old saying that.
I know. 2020 was such a long year, and I'm like, it's 24? It feels like a fever dream, honestly.
Just a smidge. Also, it's a realization that it's been 13 years since I was in high school.
12 for me.
You damn baby.
I'm the baby. I've got a few New Year's resolutions this year. I don't think we'll get through them all, but I know like one that is really important to me that I really do want to take seriously this year is my quiet times. Like, I used to get up super early in the morning. I was always an early bird. So I would always try to make sure that I would set aside 30 minutes to an hour every morning before work where I would spend reading the Bible and in prayer.
Yeah.
This past year, that has not happened.
You've had one hell of a year, though.
It's been a hard year. Well, I mean, like, honestly, it's kind of dwindled a little bit since I had Alex. Like, my energy levels from before and after pregnancy, very different. Drastically different. It's been difficult for me to get up before 7 a.m. since I had him generally. But then you add on a year of grief, and it's like practically impossible to get out of bed before 7:30. And I have to be logged on to work by 8. So quiet times have almost been out the window, especially this past year. It's like I'll try, but it's never been anything consistent.
Yeah.
So at this point, I'm trying to let my OCD go. And remember that it doesn't have to be a strict time. It doesn't have to be every single day. But even if I can just like spend 15 minutes at lunch reading the Bible or 15 minutes before bed in prayer, anything like that, so that way I can at least feel like I'm getting into the spirit a little bit, makes me feel like I'll be accomplishing something more than what I have been doing.
I think that's a really good New Year's resolution.
Yeah.
Instead of like crunching it at a particular time of old habits.
Yeah.
Just adjust.
I need to accept the person that I am today.
Yeah.
And I also need to stop being so strict with myself of having the same routine every single day.
It's just
because it's not possible, especially with a child. Like, everything changes on a day-to-day basis. It just needs to be, I've got the next 30 minutes to myself. Okay, let's spend it in prayer rather than spending it scrolling through Facebook.
Also, keep in mind the fact of, like, not to deter you on this, but I know that you and your husband have had these recent conversations of looking to expand y'all's family.
Yeah.
So that's also a possibility, which can completely throw your idea of like a scheduled perfect time. Like
there will be no such thing as a schedule. If you ever bring in another child, schedules don't exist with babies.
Nope.
That would be one of those, I'm up at 3 a.m. because I have to feed the child. Might as well open up a Bible.
See, that's a great thing of like, you're already going to have to deal with a particular situation. Might as well take this opportunity to like read. And the thing is I'll also add, I know you have a really cool Bible that you like love to rave about.
My Bible.
But also, you do have a tablet.
Yeah.
You can always download or see if you can
I have the Bible app on my phone. I have it on my tablet. I know that I can open it up.
Yeah.
And I have the exact same version of the Bible.
See, I was going to ask if you had that same version.
Yeah. I just don't have like the study notes that breaks it down.
Yeah.
But I can always do research, things like that. It's one of those of, again, I'm trying to let go of this OCD that I have where I have to make notes, where I have to highlight, where it makes me feel like I've actually done something. And just read. It doesn't matter if I get to do all the extra stuff. What matters is actually getting the word into my system.
Yeah.
And letting go of everything else.
I think that would be I feel like that's something you could follow through with. It'll take some work.
Yeah, I mean, everything takes work, whether it's a New Year's resolution or just something that you decide to do tomorrow. But it's going to take effort.
Yeah, I think they'll be nice for you.
Yeah. So what about you? What are some New Year's resolutions for year 2024?
So I haven't, again, New Year's resolutions just isn't really a thing for me. It's just hard for me to like come up with a list and follow through.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But one of the things that I've really kind of thought about and had some self-reflection on is learning how to take time for myself. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is I was very lucky and blessed to date my high school sweetheart who I eventually married. So I've been lucky enough to be able to grow with this person for 13 years. We have gotten to grow and learn together as well as individually. With that being said, I've never actually had that time of like being
by yourself,
like quote unquote single in the mindset. And so I just don't know how to be comfortable with being by myself. I feel like I have to be with someone else. I feel like I can't do certain things without someone else being with me, or else like what's
that
the
makes
point?
Sense.
So some of the things I really want to try and do is like almost kind of learn how to date myself.
Yes.
And
that's a huge thing, is being able to be comfortable with being alone.
Correct. So one of the things, like some things that I could do, very simple minor things, is if my husband and I, like if Matt wants to meet up with friends at Brigandry, absolutely I'll come with you, but it'll come with you with the mindset of let me see what movies are available, and I can just go to Brigandry, drop him off, and then I can just cut across the highway and go to the theaters. Because it's like, they're literally
take yourself to the movies. Take yourself to dinner.
Because there's so many times of like, I guess movies is probably the best example I can offer. He's not really a huge movie person. There's not a whole lot of
he doesn't like to sit there by in the dark for 3 hours.
So there's been a lot of movies that have come out that I'm like, I would really love to see, but I've never actually gotten to see in theaters because he's not really interested in seeing it, and I still feel this need of like, well, I can't go to the theaters by myself.
Oh, you certainly can.
So I really want to do that. Something as simple as going and getting coffee at Mugs on like Saturday, when they're open in the mornings type deal, and just kind of sit there and like I could do Sudoku, which I've really picked back up, and I'm really glad about that. Try and read a book because I really want to like get back into that and try and reduce my screen time. So that's kind of my first one, is like learning how to date myself and feel
love
comfortable
that for you
with me being alone. Because that, if I can become comfortable with being alone, I feel like that can help me grow in a lot more ways than I mean, I've still grown considerably.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I have a great relationship, very healthy, very happy. He's the best person in the world for me. I just want to like,
but everyone can grow in different aspects. I mean, I've known you over the past 10 years, and you have definitely grown remarkably as a person.
Yeah.
But everybody can definitely stand to learn how to love themselves a little bit more. And if you can't be alone with yourself for an extended period of time, I feel like that's something that you should personally work on. I was 19 when I met Daniel. I was 18 when I met him. I was 19 when we started dating. So I didn't really have a long set of time where I was single, but I feel like I learned how to be that independent person, especially when I did the study abroad trip.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally did that entire month in other countries by myself. I went to Italy and walked Rome for 3 days by myself.
Yeah.
And you want to talk about getting yourself out of your comfort zone. That's the way to do it, because you're forcing yourself to go to restaurants, to go to museums, to do all of this stuff completely alone.
You mentioned doing that stuff. I'm like, I wouldn't mind also trying to go to local theater productions.
Yes, exactly.
We have a university who has an excellent theater program that
they have amazing plays.
I know that the town next to us that you're from, they have a theater production that they're always putting stuff on.
Oh, so yeah, and they do great shows.
They're like, and I enjoy seeing theater productions, but I've never actually like done that. The closest I've ever been by myself was when I spent a semester at Stephen F. Austin. And even then, I was so uncomfortable that I still ended up being isolated myself and not in a healthy kind of way.
Exactly. So, no, I 100% support this for you. Like, anytime that you see something that you want to do, don't question, well, can Matt come or can Charity come? Think to yourself first, is this something that I think I could enjoy by myself? And it gives you time to reflect on what you're doing and actually enjoy it alone. So, and you'll come to find that it's a beautiful experience.
I'm excited. So, what's another New Year's resolution that you possibly have for yourself?
Well, I mean, I know that I mentioned like, having more quiet time, but especially just like reading the Bible in general. I have read it cover to cover before. But that took a long time. I think, there was a lot of breaks and a lot of like pauses in between. I remember I finished reading Revelation, which is the last book in the Bible, right before I was rebaptized. It's been a minute. That was like 3 years ago. So I would really like to reread it cover to cover, but especially I'd like to read it within the year. So it kind of puts me on a little bit of a timeline, so that way I can't just put it off. It kind of keeps me more steady pace. It'll help keep me up with my quiet times because I'll think, okay, I need to read today or I'm going to get behind on the schedule.
Don't make it feel like a chore, though.
I don't want to make it feel like a chore, but I kind of want to make it to where I still do it within a year.
Make a goal with an intention.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to make daily goals rather than I have this finish line,
Yeah.
Daily goals that I want to set. But I think it would be really cool for me. Like you mentioned, I have the McAllister Study Bible is what it's called. The specific version is like, oh goodness, I can't think of the name of it now, but it's the most literal translation that there is of the Bible. And it breaks down what each verse basically meant culturally or what it meant in context. So that way you have a better understanding of the Bible as a whole. And so I would love to actually deep dive that now that I am, a lot stronger in my faith and have been rebaptized. I'd love to go through it again, cover to cover, to actually feel like I can get more out of it spiritually and in depth.
I think that would be good.
Yeah.
I know you really like that Bible because you always, there's so many times where you're like, I had quiet time and I read this and did you know, and go this whole
rabbit trail so hard with that Bible. I'll be trying to read an entire chapter. I'm like, okay, I need to get through all of this, but then I'll get stuck on 3 verses because those 3 verses will have in the study portion below it, and it breaks it down in a way that I'd never heard of before. Yeah. I'd never thought of before, and I'm just it blows my mind, and I'll get completely trapped in on that, and I'll spend 30 minutes on 3 verses.
I think that's beautiful to watch unfold because you and Desiree end up, it's beautiful for me to see in the chat, you and Desiree having this conversation, and I'm learning something new. While I don't necessarily practice the faith, I still think it's beautiful to watch my 2 of my best friends kind of grow a little bit more, and I'm I'm so proud of you both.
I would love one day, especially over the next year, one day the 3 of us need to do an episode. We'll have her on as a guest and just have the 3 different views of those that grew up in the church. We have someone who grew up and got stronger in it. Desiree, she's still, she's still a Christian, struggling. But she struggles a lot because of what she saw in the church growing up, and she saw some pretty dark sides of the church. Did. But she still believes in God. And then you have your aspect, which you've completely left the faith and you're exploring all of these other spiritual
it's
aspects.
Hard for me to say that I left the faith when I never really felt like I joined.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's the best way
coming
of
to the realization that you may not have ever been Christian in the first place.
I did a lot of things, and I don't discourage or anything like that. Don't get me wrong, I don't care for the radicals, and there's some parts where I'm just kind of and okay, you do you, but that's not me. But I've never really felt like I was part of it. Mm-hmm. I've just had enough respect for the people around me to not be hateful towards what they believe in, because I think everyone deserves,
and I think that's great.
I believe everyone deserves the right to practice what they believe without being hateful about it. That's my biggest thing. I don't care for hate. I'm a very much like caring, big-hearted person.
So long as what you believe is not hurting someone else.
That's all I care about.
Then that's what matters. Exactly.
Don't hurt
someone else.
Don't hurt anyone else. We're humans. We're on this planet together.
So what is another one of your resolutions?
Being creative.
Being creative?
Yeah. So I feel like whenever we ended up moving back, which I'm really glad we moved back. I'm really, really glad we moved back. I don't regret our decision.
I think it's been great. Y'all have gotten out of your shells much.
It's been very beneficial. We've gotten to have a lot of personal growths and realizations between living in TK and coming back. But one of the things is I kind of started to fall into like a depressive episode while in TK, and I haven't really gotten out of it. So like the desire to be creative just hasn't really
I get that 100%.
been there like I would want. So I want to take the time to try and be more intentional with my creativity. And what I mean by that is photography is my all-time favorite hobby. And so I want to go back and pick that back up and be more consistent and kind of produce stuff every single month. Even if it's just one picture that I have taken and edited and posted, it's still something. Painting tabletop miniatures. I really like painting those.
I feel like for you, it's a really good, like, minute task where you just get into it and everything else in the world disappears.
Yeah.
Those are great for people with ADHD, I feel like.
Heavily hyper-focus on painting tabletop miniatures. More specifically, I don't like painting units because it all has to be the same. I like to have, like, a character that is like different from everyone else, and I will take the time to observe every little thing about it, and then I just kind of start from there, and I try and bring all of the little stuff to life within
that.
So
That's beautiful.
I can hyper focus on painting a miniature pretty easily. Like I could pretty easily spend 8, 10, 12 hours just solely focusing on painting.
Wow.
Which is terrible because by the time I'm done, like I've like become this
to say, I'm sure your back is hurting, your eyes are dry, your fingers are cramping.
I've become a gremlin. My eyes are like, I need eye drops. I need to like stretch because I'm starting to hurt.
You need to set 30-minute alarms for you to stand up, stretch, and take a 5-minute walk.
Something like that. But so those are kind of the two things that I actually really enjoy doing that I haven't really done seriously in a far too long of a time. And one of the things that caught me off guard today is one of my coworkers who she's a newer coworker. She's only been a part of a team for a couple of months now. I love her. I think she's a great addition to our team. She made a comment about the fact of like, yeah, why don't you do more photography? Because I think what stemmed that is I made my Secret Santa gift.
Oh, yeah.
And I got to give it to him, and he loved it. As soon as he opened it up, he immediately knew what it was for, and he noticed that there were 7 hooks.
I love the video that you sent to us. He was like, this is great.
I know. And I was so self-conscious. I was like, oh my gosh, it's not what I had envisioned, because I had to cut back on a few things because I was going to use a Cricut and like be like super fancy. But the people who was going to let me use the Cricut, their daughter ended up having the flu, and she's the only one. Two things.
No.
She's the only one who knows how to use the Cricut, and 2, she had the flu. So I was like, 1, don't want to get too sick. That's not going to work. 2, just not going to happen. So I had to like figure out something new.
Yeah.
But it still turned out great because, again, I handmade it. Like, it was handmade. But it was kind of, for my coworkers, they really got to see a taste of like the fact that I can be creative. But she ended up making a comment about the fact of like, why don't you do more photography? You're like really good at it. And I'd only shown her one picture.
Your pictures are amazing.
That
doesn't surprise me at all.
I'd only shown her my little lock screen of my bumblebee, and she went, "You took that?"
Okay, so we need to put on our Instagram page some of the photos that Taylor sent, especially the bumblebee photo, because we know it's your little what do you call it? The Easter egg in your tattoo.
It's my Easter egg on my tattoo.
So we need to put that on Instagram so people can see just the adorableness that is this bumblebee, as well as how awesome your photos actually
thank
are.
you. I'm still very self-conscious about it.
You shouldn't be. They're great.
But I want to be able to like really heavily get that creative desire back again and try to produce something every single month. Whether it's photography, whether it's a miniature that I've painted, I really want to try and produce something creative and artsy at least once a month, just to kind of feel like I'm doing something and like put my like I guess my what would be a good word? Put my focus or something into something creative.
Yeah, you want a creative outlet.
Yeah.
Which I think, you know, for me this past year, this podcast has really been that.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Because honestly, like that is something that I've also been needing a lot of is a new creative outlet. When I was younger, I drew all the time. I was very artistic. I had a really bad art teacher my senior year that killed that in me. In her mind, she was like, if you're in art for AP, you want to do art as a career. And I need to show you what it's like to do art as a career. And if you can't keep up with my deadlines and you can't be in an art career and you need to drop out.
I feel like
and
she
I
had all
did
of
not.
the wrong intentions.
Oh, she 100%
class.
did. I did not pick up a pencil again for like 2 years. And that was like my big outlet growing up. So now I'm like, I do still like to draw. I don't do it very often. I want to find a new creative outlet. And I've like done some different artistic stuff with my iPad, which has been fun. But I just can't keep at anything anymore because of the way she drilled that into me. So thank you for this podcast because it apparently is my big new artistic outlet.
You're welcome. It's because
Yes.
I love you.
Mm-hmm.
So, continuing on, do you have another like New Year's resolution you've thought about?
I need to move. I need to stop saying it like that because
You make it sound like you're gonna move from this house. I'm like, no, you're
every
not.
single person that knows us is like, if you move again, we're not helping you.
No,
We've moved a ridiculous amount of time for having been married for 7 years.
Here's the thing. I'm pretty sure, technically speaking, Matt and I have moved just a little bit more than you and Daniel.
Y'all also moved further, which I think adds double points.
Fair. But I also feel like we don't have as much stuff.
Yeah, we got a lot of crap.
I think because of typically with each move, like physical move we make, we go through and we go, we got a lot.
And y'all get rid of stuff.
And so we get rid of stuff.
We don't do that.
Here's the thing. I regret doing it every single time because now I look back and I'm like, oh,
there's so much stuff that you wanted,
and now we don't have it anymore, and I'm
you don't have to clean out everything before you move.
Look, we tried to be minimalist at one point, and then I recently accepted we are not minimalist, we're maximalist. We like our things. I love
my stuff.
I like having my knickknacks. I like having our board games. I like having things.
I've come to realize I'm not a huge knick-knack person, but I am a book person. It does not matter if I've read the book or not. If it's a pretty book, I want the book.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it looks pretty on my shelf.
I can't walk into a bookstore and not walk out with a book in hand.
100% same. But
even
no.
if I just one book, one book, that's all I need. It's just one book. If I walk into a bookstore, whether it's half price books, whether it's a used bookstore, which we did in Mena, Arkansas, a small town, I walked out with a book in hand.
Yeah.
Just saying. Made no sense. I literally was
I did the same thing in New Orleans.
Through and I found like a random book. I read the back. I'm like, this seems interesting. I didn't know what Gaslight Fantasy was, so I had to Google that stuff real quick.
I kind of want to borrow that when you're done because I'm intrigued. What I meant was
Rabbit trail.
I need to physically move more. I work from home. I sit at a desk all day. I never leave my house. I'm sure I've got an abundance of vitamin deficiencies. Like, I need to physically move my body more.
Your therapist prescribed you vitamin D.
She specifically told me that working out for me is just as essential as taking my anti-anxiety medication. Yeah, I have not done that yet.
That explains why you've gotten paler. You're starting to look like a ghost.
I know. I used to be outside all the time. I used to run all the time. Remember, at one point, I could run an entire 5K. Like, I used to be very athletic. And then I had a child. And then I lost my dad. And now all I do is eat.
But now you're on Vyvanse.
But now I'm on Vyvanse.
My gosh.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So no, I think what I really need to do this next year, it's not like I want to start going to the gym all the time. You know, I just want to move my body. If I can get up and go for a 30-minute walk in the afternoons, or if I can do 25 sit-ups in the afternoon, just something to where I move my body every single day in a way that will help remind my muscles that they're alive, that would be fantastic. I need to try and at least tone myself up a little bit more. I used to be incredibly strong. I used to be incredibly fit. One day I'd love to get back there. I don't think it'll happen within the next year realistically. Just where I'm at mentally and what I want to do over the next year. Like, I don't know that it'll happen. But I don't want to also hold myself back from possibilities either by putting a block on myself of, no, that's not going to happen. I'm not going to try. It's just one of those of, I'm going to, put in realistic goals where I'm going to start off with trying to do something for 30 minutes a day, at least 4 to 5 days a week. And then the next month I can up that. And the next month I can up that. That's my goal for the next year.
I think that's reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to set more realistic goals for myself rather than these insane New Year's resolutions that some people do.
Because the thing is I feel like if you end up setting, like, I'm going to do 100 crunches a day, by like day 4, you're already like hurting.
Oh yeah, you're dead. And
you're like, I don't want to do this. Or like life just happens. You're a mom to a toddler.
You get overwhelmed.
You want to try to expand your family. Mm-hmm. So like that's already a lot, and there's so much going on. You can't realistically go, I'm going to dedicate an hour to working out for you in particular. Mm-hmm. Without it being super early in the morning. It's either
I get up at 4 or I stay up until midnight. And actually, study shows it's not great to work out right before bed because your endorphins are raised and all of that. So you're not going to sleep nearly as well because your brain is wired at that point. You're supposed to work out either in the mornings or in the afternoons, which I've learned that as much as I used to be a morning person, I just can't do it anymore. My body just flat out rejects it, which is fine. It just means that I have to start carving out little 15-minute segments throughout the day to do a workout.
Walking or doing a few lunges or doing a few step-ups. There's a lot of stuff you can do that's limited, but it's still movement that isn't normal
and
movement.
It's accepting also that I'm not who I once was because I did do a 30-day challenge a long time ago of I did 100 lunges a day every day for 30 days. And I did that, and when there were days that I missed one, I would do 200 the next day.
Oh, hell no.
And I could do it. My calves were great. When I say that I had rock hard calves, they were gorgeous, and I loved my legs. I can't do that anymore.
Yeah, no.
I don't have that kind of endurance anymore. I'd love to get back there, but I'm nowhere near that point.
That's okay.
And that's okay. It's learning to accept that about yourself and set realistic goals for who you are today. And not be upset that you're not who you were.
Because the thing is you can set those realistic goals, but then once you start seeing like, oh, this is getting easier.
Yes, then you can up it.
I feel like I'm going to up it a little bit more. Let's challenge myself.
Yeah, and see, I mean, that's where I get into the issue of I always push myself too hard where I'm like, you know what? I'm doing okay. I'm just going to keep going. It's fine. I feel like I'm being stabbed in the back. I'm just going to keep going, and then I can't move for 3 days.
Yeah, please don't do that.
Again.
Yeah,
I did that last month. Remember when I texted y'all that I was running a mile for the first time in like 4 years?
Oh.
And then I couldn't move for a week because I severely strained a muscle in my shoulder blade from forcing myself upright while running.
Right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Fun fact, you realize that if you haven't exercised for a long period of time and then you immediately jump into a like intense exercise, your body can essentially shut down on yourself. You would temporarily become allergic, air quote, allergic to working out because someone that Matt and I know from Brigadry, he did that. He used to work out a lot. He used to be a bodybuilder a lot. And then he became a stay-at-home dad to his 2 kiddos. And then probably a year or so ago, he decided, I'm going to get back into working out, but I'm going to work out how I used to work out. His body said, no, you're not. Sit your butt down.
Yeah, I feel like that is 100% what my body has been telling me over the past year because it's been like, I just want to go straight back to it. And it's not possible.
Listen to your body. It knows
I'm learning
what it
how to
needs.
listen to my body. I'm learning. It is a process.
Just don't ignore it.
I'm trying.
That's all I'm asking. Just don't ignore it.
Yeah, we'll see. So what's your New Year's resolution? Do you have any others that you'd like to add to the list?
Mental health.
Oh, yeah, same.
So you mentioned about physical health and trying to like do better on that. And I would say I'm going to follow up. For me, it's going to be my mental health. It has been a major struggle for me mental health wise for a very, 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 very long time. I don't know how many times I just said that. Someone count for me. That'd be great. And so I have already started the conversation with the psychiatrist. I am already on meds, which let me tell you, the days that I take my Vyvanse, it's such a huge, it's
a huge shift.
It's a huge shift.
Yeah.
I recognize on it that my anxiety is way more noticeable. So I'm going to
have to get on anti-anxiety meds.
I'm going to ask to be put on anti-anxiety meds because I'm really trying to hold off being put on antidepressants because I'm still very adamant of the fact of like my depressive episodes only happen when I am incredibly overwhelmed. So if you can get your
anxiety underhand, then you'd feel like you won't experience your depression nearly as much.
I get that. That's kind of my mindset. And then the other thing is my insurance, my company is an amazing company and I got really lucky. My insurance did not increase whatsoever.
Yeah.
So it's the exact same thing I'd been paying this past year. I'm going to continue paying this exact same going into the new year. So woohoo!
Yay!
Doing great things. So with that being said, it covers mental health. And for a therapist, it's $30. So why not take advantage of therapy? So I've already started the process, but I really want to like dive into it a lot more seriously. Keep up with my psychiatrist, keep up with my medication.
Start going talking once a week or once every other week.
That's kind of my mindset with my therapist because it's all virtual.
Yeah.
I can just take lunch and I can do it in my car or I can wait until I get home and I can just get on virtually with her at home. So I have a lot of options available to me pretty easily. And again, $30 for a therapy session when I used to have to pay $120 to $150 per session. I'm like, why the hell?
Yeah, no, seriously, you need to take advantage of that as long as you have it as an option.
And the therapist that I found, I love her immediately. First session, great, fantastic. She is also a 30-year-old woman who was diagnosed with ADHD at a later date. She also has a strained relationship with her mother and so has a lot of personal experiences that she can bring to the table that I could probably find it easier to relate with. Even though I was incredibly nervous during my first session with her, I felt very comfortable to open up to her about a lot of this stuff.
That's how you know that you have a good therapist.
So I really just want to that's my biggest thing is really seriously take charge of my mental health and work through my traumas and move past the pain and the hurt that I experienced as a kid, learning how to forgive my mother. Again, I've said it before, I'll say it again. As my therapist said, right now she lives rent-free in my brain, and I'm ready to evict her.
There you go.
And just be done with it.
And you can't do that until you truly forgive. And that is hard, and it's a process. And quite frankly, it's
Oh.
not something that when you forgive them that you're done.
Yeah,
It will be a
no.
continual process. You'll have to continue to forgive her every single day.
But I know that if I can start this process, not only is it going to help my relationship at home, because I will say Matt and I, we've talked and we're both very much in agreement of we have gone leaps and bounds on our communication with each other. We feel we're each and every single day, we're feeling more and more comfortable to bring up some of the hard topics of like, this is kind of what I'm feeling. I need you to be aware of this. Recognizing of like, okay, this is becoming too emotional. We need to stop for the time being and we can come back to it. So like, and that's just part of being in a relationship, a long-term relationship, a relationship that you've been in for 13 years of starting off as kids and growing up with each other.
Yeah. The fact that you're able to do that is beautiful.
There's so
and
much
it's
give and
great.
take.
Yes.
And so I want to take care of my mental health for not only a relationship, but also for myself, more importantly. But I really do. I know it's weird to say. Younger me, I always said, yeah, I'm ready for a kid. But realistically, I wasn't. Even though we're not financially there yet.
You feel like you're getting there mentally.
Like we're kind of getting closer and closer, mentally speaking, of seeing if we can have a kid.
And
so
that is great.
I'm excited for that. So I want to take charge.
I'm excited for you.
I don't know when that happened. It might be closer. It might be 31, 32, 33. It might be.
But mentally, you're getting to the point where it's actually more of a possibility, or where if it did happen, you feel like you might be able to handle it better than you did 5 years ago.
So that's kind of my thing is I really want to just take charge of my mental health. And because like I want to proceed with a realistic future. And I feel like I can't safely go into this future if I feel like I do right now, emotionally speaking.
If you're constantly in a state of fight or flight, you cannot continue to grow as a person. You will constantly be stuck in a loop.
And I feel like the fact that I'm already self-realizing this stuff is
a huge
step.
Yes.
Even the psychiatrist had made a comment when I saw her. It was just kind of, her and the therapist were like, you already self-recognize this stuff, and that alone is a huge first step in your mental health journey.
And to circle back, you said that one of your resolutions was to kind of date yourself.
Yeah, this is a great way to do it.
This is a great way to do it. If you want to work on your mental health, working on being alone with yourself and loving yourself and being comfortable with yourself is a great start to that, because it gives you time to self-reflect, to realize what it is that you like as a person. Apart from your spouse, and how you can work that into your relationship and other aspects of your life.
And if I can, and also the thing to add to it before we move on to your final New Year's resolution, if I can start all of this stuff now, whenever I have a kid, if I'm lucky enough to be able to be a mom, because the universe has its own plans. If I can recognize this, then I can also encourage and foster this into my kid and help them feel the confidence in themselves that when they're an adult, they can take over the world and not feel the self-doubt that I experience every single day.
We are breaking generational curses.
Matt and I mentioned that. He was just like, speaking of curses, and so even he's starting to recognize in like some of his behaviors and some of the things that he experienced while he relatively had a healthy upbringing. His was not toxic like ours.
Even healthy growing up aspects.
There was still things with regards about his parents, their divorce, how his mom did things, how his dad does things. Even now, it's still the fact of recognizing of like, our parents are who they are based upon their upbringing and their experiences. And because they didn't have the resources at the time to work through this stuff, it kind of accidentally got pushed onto your kid because they just didn't know what to do. And now we're like, we recognize this, and so we're like, we don't want to accidentally push this kind of stuff onto a kid that we might bring into the world.
Exactly.
So.
All of it is learning how to be better than those who came before you.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how healthy of an upbringing you had. I mean, like you said, your husband had a relatively healthy upbringing. My husband had a relatively healthy upbringing. They could both use therapy. That's not to say that they're messed up or anything. It's just to say that, in my opinion, everybody could use therapy because everybody has experienced something in their life that they've internalized or dealt with poorly in some way.
Yeah.
And therapy helps you to work through that to be better in the future.
Yep.
So yeah, that's my aspect on it.
All right, Charity, what is your final New Year's resolution? Because we all know we probably have a long freaking list. And we got to cut this short, so.
Yes. I mean, honestly, it's kind of a lot. It's very similar to what yours is. You know, it's mental health, it's physical health. But I think more than anything, it's just learning how to prioritize myself again.
Which, as a mom, I think that's really important.
Yes. I mean,
I will add, I feel like a lot of moms, it's almost like as soon as you become a parent, you are almost forced to like not be able to consider yourself as much. And I don't think that's okay. I feel like even though you're a parent, you still have every right to still have your small little moments to yourself.
Oh, 100%.
Both moms and dads. Mom's a little bit more than dads. I'm sorry. I know that's bad to say, but I still feel like a lot of the
in society today, the women still do, I would say, a lot of the work. But men have stepped up a lot. Considerably over the past 70 years.
Absolutely.
But
so
yeah,
we'll give
I mean,
them
moms
credit.
do still do, I mean, statistically, a lot of the work. And yeah, 100% we deserve breaks. We deserve times to ourselves. And we deserve to prioritize ourselves, you know, when we're able to. And that's something that I don't think I've really done over this past year since my dad's death. I have really just kind of let go. And I've just kind of been surviving day to day.
Yeah.
Like, kind of like what we mentioned earlier, I feel like I've been in a state of just fight or flight.
Yeah.
Of I'm either doing everything to make myself better, or I'm just completely giving up and just being like, okay, well, this is just how things are right now. I'm just going to kind of live it. But what I really want to do over this next year is just kind of prioritize taking days for myself, whether they be spa days, whether they be days just sitting in a chair and reading. I want to spend more time with my family. I want to take care of my physical health, my mental health, my spiritual health. I really want to take care of what I'm putting into my body. I mean, I'm allergic to everything under the sun. So that's going to be difficult. I mean, it's made it very easy for me over this past year to just kind of give up and just start eating whatever I want out there, just junk food wise, because it's all the organic stuff that I'm allergic to. So I'm going to have to start doing research on what I put into my body. And I think that's good for me because it'll help me to start feeling better both physically and mentally.
Yeah.
Because what you put in your body fuels your body.
Yep.
If you want to have energy, you need to put healthy things into your body. And I've not been doing that. So I'm just trying to like overall take better care of myself.
Yeah.
And that's obviously one of those resolutions that would be really easy, you know, after 2 weeks or a month to just completely give up on. And I'm sure I won't be consistent with it throughout the year. But if I can just do my best to try and cook more meals at home, to try and eat less soy, eat less fast food, you know, spend a little bit more time in the Word rather than scrolling through Facebook.
Yeah.
It's putting things into my body spiritually, mentally, physically, all of this stuff that's going to be healing to myself and help my energy and help my mental state, all of this stuff. That's what I want to do over this next year.
I think that'll be good.
Yeah.
I think that'll be good. I look forward to see how your growth goes.
Here's the hoping.
Yeah. Well, we all know that I'm like everyone's personal little cheerleader, close and far away. So like obviously I'm gonna have my little pom poms off to the side, going, "Go Charity! I believe in you! Yay!"
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll cheer for you too.
Thanks.
Not quite as peppy, but you know.
You know, believe it or not, I was not. Well, no. I wasn't a cheerleader in middle school and high school, even though I wanted to be. But I did do pee-wee cheerleading for like 2 football seasons, so.
You wanted to be a cheerleader?
Yeah, I thought it would make me fit in.
I'm so sorry.
Well, screw you too.
I can't picture you in a cheerleading outfit.
To be fair, I wanted to be a cheerleader to try and fit in because I was the weird kid. So, like, that was one reason. But realistically, look, I was more of a drill team girl, and I still wasn't even part of that.
I mean, I can't say much. Like, when I was younger, I wanted to be a cheerleader just because I loved yelling at the games. As I got older, I realized I just liked yelling at the games. I didn't need to be in a cheerleading outfit to do it.
Yeah. I tried out. I actually tried.
Good for you.
I tried out in middle school. Didn't make it.
Aww.
And then I tried out for drill team, but I tried out for drill team like my junior year, and at that point they're just kind of like, oh sweetie, no,
it's too late now.
It's too late. Like, if you had started early on, absolutely you would be like, you would shoo in to join the team.
That's sad that you can't join at junior level.
You technically can, but they're a little biased. At least at my school at the time. Might have changed,
I can understand that.
But yeah. So.
Yeah. I'm just picturing you in a cheerleader outfit.
Oh, I gotta find it. I actually have pictures. There's a picture of you. I dressed up as a cheerleader for Halloween one year.
I have a picture of me in a cheerleader's outfit, but I was 5.
No, this was me when I was like 7, 8. It's with my brother Travis. So I'm in a leopard cheerleading outfit with little leopard ears on with like pom-poms because that was the school district's mascot. And then there's Travis next to me and he's dressed up as Goku, but he's like Super Saiyan Goku.
Okay, these are going on our Instagram.
I have to find those.
I'll find one of me too, so you won't be the only one embarrassed.
I don't know where they are. But it's a picture of me and I look, you could tell that my arms were already weird at that point because I had my arms out and like my arm like bends in like a weird kind of way, which I'll make it a point for the video.
It bends backwards.
Yeah.
Double jointed.
I don't think I'm double jointed. I think it's something else.
Well, it bends really far.
Yeah. We are like rabbit holing.
But yeah,
I could continue on with some stuff. I might actually do a video at some point with like my weird arm movement just to see how many people freak out. I didn't think it was weird until I did it with people in high school and they're like, "What the hell is wrong with you?"
You got weird elbows.
Yeah. It is what it is. Maybe you can kind of see. Oh yeah, you could see it.
Rein it in, Taylor. Rein it in.
We're almost done.
Closing.
No. You didn't ask me what my final New Year's.
Was that not your final? Oh!
No!
I forgot. I'm so sorry.
So hurt.
What is your last New Year's resolutions for 2024?
This one's a cop-out.
Okay.
It's a slight cop-out. And it's because my New Year's resolution is really and truly just to put as much energy as possible into this podcast.
Yes.
Just to see how it grows.
I love that idea.
I really just want to see where we end up a year from now. Because we've been doing this for
this will be
2
our
months?
11th posting. So we've done it for 2 months now.
Yeah, so we've been doing it consecutively for 2 months solid, which I haven't been this invested in a project in a long time, so I'm super
The fact
happy.
that we're still going this strong, especially during the holiday season, it's a good sign.
I've never been so I even texted Matt today. I was like, I know I need to do this stuff, but I have to record an episode today because I won't have time to be able to record this episode.
Has become a priority for the both of us when it comes to posting on our social medias when it comes to making sure that our rundown is done, that we have set times to record.
It helps.
And I love that.
It helps that we have such encouraging fans. Like, I get
we have such a support group
right now.
Thank you. All of you.
I get that the fans right now are people that kind of know us personally, and I would love for strangers who don't know us at all to like start making comments and reaching out and stuff like that.
But
like,
no matter what, like, it's
makes
great.
Me so good because I'm like, holy crap! There's
I've
like
had
people
so
who find
many
us
people just over the past 3 days come up to me and like have questions about things that we've mentioned on the podcast. Be like, I love your podcast because the way that y'all speak is how my brain works and it makes me happy. I know we have shirts.
Someone
I love it. Yes. And it just, it makes me so happy because it makes me feel like we're actually doing something here. We're not just wasting our time talking into microphones for ourselves.
Yeah.
But that people are actually enjoying this. And for that, we thank you. And I want to add that to my list as well.
So, like, it's a slight cop-out, but it's really and truly, I want to invest as much energy as I can into this because this is a, like, passion project, and I just want to see where this ends up in, like, a year from now.
I completely agree.
So, like, right now, so, like, just for statistic numbers, last time we checked, how many followers did you see on Spotify, we have 23 followers. Okay, and on TikTok, I saw that we had like
34. Yeah, and on Facebook, we have like 45-ish.
So, okay.
Yeah.
So, like, those are our
and
numbers.
on Instagram, I think we have like 13.
So, those are our followers as of the end of 2023.
Yes.
Going into 2024. And I want to be able to go back and go, this is what we said.
And this is where we're at now.
This is where we are now.
Here's to hoping it's more.
That's the goal.
Either way, I just want us to have fun this next year. I need people to understand. We already have like episode plans out through like May. We know what we want to do throughout April. We know what we want to do throughout June.
I'm going to do a coming out episode at the beginning of June.
I've already been asked for your coming out episode. I'm like, it will come.
But yeah,
so we're like super pumped for this next year. We are by no means do we have any plans of stopping anytime soon. We are just hyping ourselves up.
Unless one of us dies. If one of us dies, then that will stop.
Why on God's green earth would you put that out there?
Because that's the only thing that would cause us to stop doing this is if one of us was no longer breathing on this plane.
I mean, you're not wrong, but that seems like such a jump.
Nah.
Oh.
It's what our listeners are here for at this point.
That's true.
They're here for the chaos. They're straight here for the chaos.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what they're here for.
Yep.
Well, we hope that your New Year's is happy and an exciting one, both the day and the year. Reflect over your past year with joy and respect and go into the new year with high hopes and maybe some reasonable expectations as well.
If any of our listeners would like to share their New Year's resolutions, please feel free to share those with us at theunstableBrew.com, at gmail.com. I got there. We promise to read all the emails and share any that may fit into a future episode. If you would like to share a story but remain anonymous, simply let us know and we will be sure to honor your request.
Additionally, if you'd like to share with us a story simply to share but not have it shared on future episodes, please feel free to do that as well. Simply let us know that the email is for venting purposes only and not to be shared on the show. We will respect your request because boundaries matter, people.
Heck yeah. If you would like to follow us on social media, we are available on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook under The Unstable Brew. We will often be posting promo videos and extra fun content on these platforms.
Please remember we are available for your listening pleasure or displeasure on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Please like, share, and download to your heart's content.
And we will be back next time and next year with more unstable content. Bye.